Like Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last, and I like to go fast. Melissa, I need some speed in my life. I need to go faster. Can you help me out?
I can. I'm going to show them 5 top speed techniques that you must know as a nail tech.
I love it. These are important if you're looking to increase your speed. Listen up.
So today I'm going to show you 5 top speed techniques I use daily in salon. So let's get started. So this nail right here, it's grown out about 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to show you exactly what to do when your client comes in. How would you rebalance this or fill it fast? What's the fastest possible way you could go and it come out accurate at the end? So what I'm going to first do is push back my cuticles. So I do this obviously to all 10. So after pushing back my cuticles, I'm going to get a medium grid arbor band and I'm going to put it on 5,000 RPMs. What I'm going to do is prep the back end first. I like to do baby circles around the cuticle area. Prep all the way through. Then I'm going to remove some of the top coat here. Then I'm going to dust off her nail, or all 10 of her nails. And then I'm going to go into swipe to change out the pH balance in all 10 nails. Now, if you noticed, I didn't take off her design. All I did was take the top coat like down to here because I'm going to fill in first and then I'm going to electric file afterwards. That's one of the huge speed techniques I use. A lot of times nail techs spend their time filing all the art off first when the structure is there still. It's not so grown out where it's weight displacement. And that takes probably like 5 to 10 more minutes to remove everything. I like to do it at the end so I don't have to change my electric bit at this point. I'll just do it all at the end. So from here, what I'll do is I'll go into protein bond. And I will protein bond all 10 and then come back with my second coat. So I'm using acrylic, and acrylic sticks to everything pretty much, right? So I don't have to protein bond down here. If you do, that's fine, but you really don't have to because acrylic's gonna stick to it. So from here, what I'm gonna do is fill all 10 nails. Now I'm going to draw out a little bit of my monomer because I don't need to pick up such a big pearl to fill in my back end. Then what I'm going to do is place it right where I want it, wipe my brush, and walk it around her cuticle area and blend it in. Now it doesn't matter if you get some on top of the design, you're gonna file that anyways. Now you will go so fast with this technique, you'll probably, your other hand will probably still be a little wet. So at that point, I would just put my stuff away. So now my acrylic dried, I'm gonna take my core safety bit and I'm gonna run it on 12,000 RPMs, 12 to 13, whatever one you prefer, they're both great. So what I'm gonna do is, at this point, I'm gonna file everything and then remove all my color. So that's really where you're saving your time. Because at the beginning, what you would do is take off all the color and you're taking all that time. This saves me at least like 10 minutes on my rebalance time. So right now I'm removing all the color and blending everything in at once. So there's not much shaping involved, so not having to take out your electric bit at the beginning. So I would have used this bit at the beginning and then had to change it, right? And then now use it again. So the key to it is not using it twice. So bringing it out once and finishing your whole job there. So she wants them a little shorter, so I would shorten it at this point. So what I'm going to do here is file with my 150. And really all I'm doing is just perfecting my shape from here. It's pretty much shaped for you because you're just filling it in. So I'm blending everything in from here. Make sure my sides are clean. Let me check this side. This side's a little low. Let's bring it up. Then we'll look at it from this view. This is client view, right? Not much to file, just a little bit on this side because I favor a side. And sometimes their nails wear out a little bit too, so you might have to file a little more on a side to make them all look the same. So from here. So you'll dust off everything, then go into swipe. You obviously would dust all your hands off, right? Make sure that your swipe is all the way dry, because if you put Protein Bond on top of wet swipe, what will happen is it'll cancel out your swipe, because swipe removes pretty much everything. So now that it's dry, put your Protein Bond on. She's gonna wear nude, so I'm gonna go ahead and go straight into stain resistant. But if she was gonna pick a gel polish, she would gel polish from here. Remember, you already saved at least 10 minutes on your fill time. So when you start doing it this way, you're going to notice that you're going faster, probably waiting for your clients, and you could book them a little closer or have a little break. So let's do a little summary of what I did just to recap. So this one had art on top. It was kind of a little retro, cool design on top. So I basically pushed back the cuticles, prepped and filled it. Then I took my carbide bit and electric filed afterwards, when usually you tend to file everything off first and you're changing your bit to that. So that's taking time when you could do it all at once at the end. So that's tip number 1. Okay, now this set of nails, my client wants to kind of keep her length. She knows it's going to be shortened a little because she wants to change it to a coffin shape, but she still wants long nails. So I'm going to show you from start to finish what you would do to change the shape during a service, your fastest way. So I'm going to push back my cuticles. Never skip this step, not even when you're cutting out things to go a little faster. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is use my safety bit, and I'm going to kind of get them in the shape and shape as much as I can right now. So when I fill it, I just have to blend in. So now I'm going to remove my color, and it's just a gel color, so I'm tickling it all off. Then what I'm going to do is square it off, because remember we're going coffin, so it will shorten them a little, but not a whole lot. Okay, square it off, measure them. Now this is an extreme coffin. I think this looks really cool when the coffin's really tight, the coffin shape is. So remember, you have a lot of shimmer polish on here. Make sure you get it all off so you do not see it once you start your fill. Now a lot of times people wear out their nails and they'll kind of favor a side. I like to flip it this way to kind of see if it's favoring a side. This nail kind of is a little, so what I would do is bring it in a little. So what it's doing is it's setting me up to where I don't have to shape it so much after I fill them. Okay? Or it shows me where I need to add, if I need to add a little bit on the side because they wore it out too much. So now I'm going to go to my medium arbor band, and I am going to prep her cuticle area. Now I'm prepping her cuticle area with my medium arbor band. Now I'm going to tickle down the rest of it just because I used a glitter polish. I want to make sure that that shimmer is not going to stay there. Let's come right here, baby circles around the cuticle area, and prep all the way down. Now this is acrylic, so I don't necessarily have to prep down here, but it's a cool tip to know. If you have gel polish or a little color left behind, this will remove it. Okay, so from here what I'm going to do is dust off her nails. Then I'm going to go into swipe to change her pH balance. So you will do this through all 10 nails. And as you can see, it flows really fast. When you do the same thing every time and you get as much done with one bit, the most that you can with that one bit, you're gonna go a lot faster. Usually by the time you swipe all 10, your one hand that you swipe first is dry by the time you're finishing the other. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and protein bond, come back over here, go through all 10 and protein bond again. So that was really fast. We've already changed her shape. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is use Cover Flamingo, and I'm going to fill in her back. And the other one, she went about, the last nail I did, I feel like she went like 3 weeks, the growth that I made it look like. This girl went about 2, maybe 3. Everybody's nails grow so different at different rates, but she definitely didn't need a lot of product on her nails. She just needs it filled in. Let me look at my sides and make sure that they're all filled in. Okay, we'll wait for these to dry and then I'll start filing them. Okay, now they're dry. So what I'm going to do is go into my medium grit coarse safety bit. I'm going to put it on like 12,000 RPMs. And what I'm going to do, let me show you real quick before I start filing. You could see from the side, your arches are pretty nice. Like you hardly have to file anything. I originally pretty much shaped them all at once because I had to remove her gel polish. So since I had that drill bit out, I did that all at once. So that's a great speed technique. So from here, what I'm going to do is just blend everything in and make sure, turn on my little dust extractor, and then make sure everything is going to be blended in really well. You really don't have to change her shape. It's really nice right now. So literally this is how much you're filing. Blend it in real good around your cuticle area. Look at it from the side. Yeah, they look pretty good. Blend everything in. That is it. You'll go through all 10 like that. Take your 150 file, and really what you're doing with your 150 file is just refining everything, putting in those grooves so your gel polish will stick very well. Whether if it's a gel polish, a top coat, whatever you're going to do from here. So let's go ahead and blend everything in. So what I'm going to do here is look at them this way. They're still shaped well. I'm just going to make sure everything's clean, not leaning anywhere. So I set myself up at the beginning. So from here, I'll dust off everything. And then I'll go into swipe, of course, to remove all my oil or debris, any dust, whatever's on there. Just going to change my pH balance for me. So she decided she's going to go with Love is Love. Now, the cool thing about this is another speed technique. Go Time is actually has a built-in base and built-in top. So it doesn't require a top coat. You do not have to put a top coat on it. You also could do coverage with 1 coat, 1 to 2 coats. Usually 1 coat's nice. My second coat, I'll go around and get my cuticle area if it's easier, but I'll show you a little speed technique I do to make it work with 1 coat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get my protein bond. Protein bond the entire nail. I'll get my little micro detailer. And this is a summer red. It's super pretty color. Again, it's Love is Love. Get a little bit more on my brush. There we go. So I'll get as close as I can to the cuticle area. Then what I'll do is I will get a little bit of the color, make sure it fills in on my spots I'm missing, so I don't have to come in with the second coat. Really has a perfect coverage from there. So now I'll do your next one. I love this color. It's a great summer red. I haven't worn red in a long time. It just makes me want to wear it. So classic and simple. And I love Go Time colors. They have such awesome current colors, such a wide variety of options. They do match our caption polishes as well. Okay, so see how I'm getting it as close as I can. This is a huge technique I use in salon. So I don't have to do 2 coats. It doesn't matter if you don't have 2 coats. What matters is the coverage. That's why you're doing 2 coats to begin with. So That's what I love about Go Time. It's super fast. The cover is very plush. I love this brush for this purpose. Okay, so there we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cure her for 2 minutes, because I like to cure for 2 minutes. It does cure in 60 seconds. I just feel like 2 minutes is like added security or added insurance that it's actually gonna be fully shined and my whole station is gonna be cleaned up by the time she comes out. So she comes out of the light, and the cool thing about this, it's completely shiny, has no sticky residue, so that's also gonna save you some time. You just go straight into rose oil from here to condition her cuticles. Go ahead and condition her nails, condition it so you can put back everything you took out with swipe. So that's a speed technique for a shape change and a color change. So what I did was I took my carbide bit, removed all her gel polish, and shaped it into the shape I wanted to before I filled them. Then I went into filling her nails, and I hardly had anything to file at the end. So that is speed tip number 2. Okay, so this one I built a nail. Okay, so if you're building your whole set, what you would do from here after you build them, a lot of times most techs take their file and file first. You're not going to grab your file to do that. The first thing you're going to grab is either your coarse safety bit or your X-cut. I'm going to use my X-cut. These are the same exact grid. The only difference is this is a safety, has a little safety right here. So I'm going to use my X-cut because I like to come up in my sides. As you could see right here, how it's coming down, I'm able to get into my corner with it. So I feel the X-cut really is, they both are speedy, because the other one you could go really fast around the cuticle area without fear that you're gonna cut them, or go slower just to be safe. This one, once you get used to it, you could go just as fast. So what I'm gonna do from here is get my dust extractor. I'm at 12,000 RPMs, and I'm gonna do everything, shaping and everything with my electric bit, with my carbide bit. Now on a person, you'll pull down the skin very easily. On the training hand, unfortunately, she's like rubber, so it's harder to pull back easy, but I'm gonna kind of show you a little. What I would do is I would usually come right here, pull her skin back, and you could kind of see her rubber move a little, come in right here, and then come up. See how clean you got it? So on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. All this hanging here, I'm going to bring it up. Okay, so from here, I'm going to, she did a very square nail, or she wanted a very square nail, I should say. So I'll come in and make sure it's pretty straight. Now I'll go around my cuticle area. So what I did is I took care of my sidewalls first and everything that was hanging. A lot of times if you take care of that technique first, or that step first, I should say, a lot of times that your nail looks wide before you take in your sides. So I suggest a speed technique, taking care of your sides first, so you have the illusion of what your nail wants to look like. So what I'm doing now is just using all zones of my drill bit as zone 3, 2, and 1. Looking down the barrel of the nail at all times, shaping it all nice. And then making sure that it all comes together. To come in a little more here. Then what I'm going to do is file. Okay, so from my X-cut, I'm going into my 150, and all I really have to do is just put my grooves in there. And I did like an old school 90s square shape right now. That's pretty in style right now. Everything 90s is back in. So I'm blending in everything. Okay, let's look at it from client profile. All right, smoothing everything out. From here, I'm going to do one little trick. What I like to do is come in through here, and I'll show you from this angle. Right here, I'm going to come in and thin it out a little. So I'm going to kind of angle it. I'm not coming straight in like this, I'm angling it. And all I'm going to do is just tag it so it looks even and really thin so they could pick up credit cards or change. And it looks a lot more natural on the tip to have it thinner like that. It's really fast thing to do. So I'm going to dust off her hand. Now what this did was prepare me to do whatever you want to do on top of her nail from here. So that's tip number 3. Once you apply all your acrylic or your gel, you go straight into your carbide bit. Do not take your 150 file or any file to file your sides. You go straight into your electric bit to shape everything. That's going to take off 10 to 15 minutes off your filing time depending on how long the nails are. So now what I want to show you is a speed technique in gel when you're building it from start to finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on 2 hands. And as you can see, I have my 2 lights a little closer so you could actually see what your clients are going to do when they go in. I would have my lights a little further out for my client, but I kind of want to get it in the camera so you could see how I work on both hands at the same time. So I'm going to do the 2 pointer fingers and as if I'm doing the whole hand, and I'll explain it all as I go. So what I'm going to start with is pushing back the cuticles. Okay, then I'm going to go into my medium arbor band to prep the nails. And I'm going to use it on 5,000 RPMs. So what I'm going to do is do baby circles around the cuticle area and tickle all the way through. So all I'm doing is just prepping her nails right now. And prep is really fast, especially if you're putting a set on. There's nothing on their nails right now. So from here, what I'm going to do is dust off everything. Then what I'm going to do from there is going to swipe to change your pH balance. Let's put our protein bond on. So you'll kind of see how I'm always in motion. Go to her other hand. So you would go through all 10 and then come back and do your second coat. So she wants kind of not really long, but a little extension, and she wants nude nails. So then what I'm going to do is go into my concealer pink. When my client wants a nude nail, I start with the color on their extension that they're wanting. So I always, if she wants concealer pink, I'm going to come on her free edge, build out her nail, her extension of her nail, get it all the way to my sidewall, and repeat the process over here. Let me grab a little bit more. So keeping the gel in front of your brush, you'll maneuver it a lot faster, and then bringing it down. We'll do like a square. We'll have a tile here, wipe our brush on it, and let's go ahead and refine her sides. This is a speed technique too because it helps you know what the nail's gonna look like. Okay, so I'm gonna assist her, but your client actually will help herself in the light, but since I'm using Sally, I have to help her. Okay, so while she's under, see, if I wasn't using a training hand, I would already be working on the other hand. So you could see how this really could be a speed technique, or how it is a speed technique. So what I'm gonna do from here is repeat my process. I usually would do a couple at a time, and the reason why just 2 at a time, this self-levels a lot faster than Clear Sculptor, but the reason why I like to build in the concealer is when they're wearing a full nude nail, there's no light spots on the sides or on the free edge. So I tend to always pick whatever color I'm building with. If I'm doing art, I would use Clear Sculptor for sure. Or if I was doing pink and white. Okay, so while she goes under the light here, let me help her out. See, your client would already have her hand out, so you would already be doing your next step, so that's even faster. So what I'm going to do from here is move this to the side, get my base. So I'm going to take my base And I'm going to start right here and work my way all the way back. If I have too much. So what this is going to do, also if I notice right here, if you look really close, it's a little lower. You could always come in and add a little bit of your concealer. Takes no time at all. And she will go under the light. Much easier, your client will go under the light much easier than Sally, right? But it's still faster, as you can see how I'm working. So now I'll take this hand out and I will repeat the process. Now the reason why on the other one I added a little bit of pink, it took a little dip, and it's easier just to fix it and make it flatter, so when I build it, I don't have like a big dip there. Because gel stuff levels so much. Okay, so from here, she's gonna go under the light. Let's help her out. And I am going to take off her form. I'm not even going to worry about all that. Sometimes when I demo, I show you to cut it. I really don't when I wanna go fast. That's just when you're beginning. When you're beginning, sometimes you need a visual of what your nail is gonna be shaped with. Once you're a little more advanced and you're starting to bring in your speed techniques, just leave it because you could see everywhere you need to put it. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna get a little bit more just so I don't have to dip back in. So I'm gonna go all the way to her cuticle area, baby circle it on the side, continue it on this side, and then bring everything down. So I got enough on there. Okay, because I put a little bit more on her nail, I'm going to show you exactly what my clients do. When they first come to me, I show them how to do this. I'm going to do what's called a flash set. So what I do is I put it in like this, and as you could see the light hitting the gel. So the light is actually hitting the gel and curing the outer layer. So when you put it all the way under, it's rapidly curing. So they get like a heat spike sometimes. Some people feel it, some don't. So to be safe, this is flash setting. I let them flash set it. So I let them flash set it for as long as I'm doing the other, then about 10 seconds, and then they'll go in, okay? That's how you get away with using more gel. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat the process on this side, pick up our product. This is an awesome, awesome speed technique because I do a lot of gel in salon, and this is exactly what I do. What helps me go faster is I do put a lot more on, so I could get it all covered faster, and I just have them flash set it. So I'm getting it around everywhere I need. Okay, let me look at it from the side. Let me get it right there so I don't have to come back and add so much. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flash set her. She's gonna go right in front of the light. Okay, once she's there 10 seconds, she could go under the light, okay? That's gonna stop it from a heat spike. So what I'm gonna do with this one now is I'm gonna look at it sideways. I could get a little bit more right there. When I'm on camera, I can't put my head kind of sideways there to see that, so I tend to leave that out on camera a lot, so I'll go back and fix it. But a lot of people do miss a side, and sometimes I do that even in salon. So I could see I have plenty of product. I'll just come in. Let's fill this little spot here. I put a little pressure on my brush and fill it in. And get my orange wood stick and make sure that there's none on her skin. And now I'm gonna final cure her for 1 full minute in here. So I'm gonna do the same with here, my same spot. That's always my spot. No big deal, everybody has a spot that they need to go back to sometimes. So this one I'm gonna come in here, and then I'm gonna put pressure on my brush and fill it in. And then make sure none's on her skin. Okay, I'm gonna final cure this for 1 minute. Using 2 lights is huge. That's gonna help you so much. Really, that's the key to fast gel service, is having 2 lights. So I used 2 lights. I showed you some speed techniques, how I apply, how I go in and out of the light while I'm still working on the other hand. If you use gel that way and you build your sets that way, you're really gonna save a lot of time and go really fast. So let's go to the last tip. So my fifth final speed technique, and I use this in salon every day of my life. You all know that I love dimensional nails, and all my clients wear them pretty much all the time. So this technique I'm going to show you is a really fast way and a really good tip to learn to change out your next dimensional nail, or to even build it back to a nice nail. So with nothing in it, just a plain nail. So what we'll do is start off with, always start off with our magic wand, right? So I'm going to push back the cuticle. So after I push back the cuticles, I'm going to use my dust extractor, get my toenail clipper. Before I clip it, I'm going to look underneath and make sure she doesn't have an extended hyponychium. Okay? If she does, you'll cut in front of that. I'm going to remove her nail, go into my core safety bit, and I'm going to kind of break it down because it happens really fast because I go so fast with this. So I'm going to use a circular motion, and I'm going to use all zones 1, 2, and 3 on all zones of her nails, never keeping it in the same spot. And I'll explain as I go. And I could do this, and so could you, without your clients feeling any heat. So what I'm going to do is a circular motion. See, I'm in zone 1, I'm in zone 2, see, I'm in zone 3, zone 1. Now, if you don't stay in the same spot, you're not going to cause heat. So right here, there's more color. I'll probably come here and go back to another spot. Come back here, go to another spot. I know this spot's going to take me the longest to get all the way down because it's actually color. But when I first built this nail, I did put clear underneath her nail, or a little bit of pink. I don't remember which color I used, but it looks like clear actually, a little bit under there. So when the color disappeared, I knew to quit filing because that's where her natural nail is. Okay, so if you look really close from here, so you could see on the nail, I'm kind of using zone 3 here, and how I'm kind of breaking. I go a little slower or actually a lot slower as I get closer to my client's natural nail. If you look really close, you still could see some here. I know I'm safe because I have that clear barrier underneath her nail. But I will definitely slow my roll through here. See how, let's look, I'll go a little slow here and you'll see how it'll disappear. Circular motion, circular motion, circular motion. See how that's off? You'll go to your next one. Now, obviously, if I'm not teaching it, I would have had it off already because you're constantly in motion. Okay. So from here, I'm going to go into my medium arbor band and prep her nail. But do you see how fast everything came down? Super fast, even with me teaching you it. I tend to take a little longer when I teach to explain, but the movement is really fast. Okay, you could see she has a little bit of her extension here. You could leave it, it doesn't matter, it's kind of a guide. And you could see if you look really close, she still has some of her clear on her. You could see the different textures, especially on Sally, she's peach. I think like it's easier to see it on a real person because our nails are a totally different color of the acrylic usually. And from here I'd build again. So on this last set is something I use in salon all the time. You all know I love dimensional nails, so I have to be pretty fast at changing out and removing or taking down their dimensions or their art. So I showed you how I do it really fast. This is very valuable. I took my carbide bit, my safety carbide bit, it was coarse. And before I took that, I took my clipper and clipped my toenail clipper and clipped off the free edge, then went into my carbide bit. And when I did baby circles around it, it went down really fast. If you use all the zones of your drill bit, it's going to take all your product down really fast, but do not stay in the same spot. I brought it down really fast, and I put this nail next to it. It did look like this, and I did that in a matter of really a minute to a minute 30 seconds is all it will take you once you're fast in salon to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope all these tips help you, and you have a beautiful day.
Young Nails is committed to giving you the best nail education in the world. Check out more of our videos. Head right over here, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and do that by clicking right over here.